To the sports bulletin. Now, Pope Francis is indeed due in Kenya tonight on his first official visit to Africa. Now, that 5-day trip will also take him to Uganda, which along with Kenya has been subjected to a number of jihadist militant attacks. Now, on the line we have our correspondent Sarah Kimani. She will be monitoring this developing story for us. Sarah, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Has the Pope arrived in Nairobi, Sarah?
Yes, the Pope has just landed in the country a few minutes ago. He is now just getting off the plane. President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya is waiting to receive him together with high-ranking Catholic clergy, all of them at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where his plane has just touched down.
What are some of the big issues that the Pope is most likely to focus on, Sarah? Religious tolerance, reconciliation, a message of peace, most likely?
Yes, maybe just let me take you through what is expected now. So he will leave the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport accompanied by President Uhuru Kenyatta. There's a lot of people on the streets leading all the way from the airport to the president's official residence, where he will hold a closed-door meeting, and then the two gentlemen will come out and hold a press conference. That press conference will set the ground for your question in terms of what we expect him to address. We understand he will be talking about reconciliation, unity, especially because Kenya is a country that has been affected by, negative ethnicity, divisions along ethnic lines. And so he will be speaking about that. But he will also be speaking about religious tolerance. That will happen when he meets leaders from various religious groups tomorrow morning before holding a mass for at least 1.4 million Catholics. And during this mass, a lot of people hope to hear him talk about issues of poverty, encouraging them, because we'll be coming to a country with 14 million Catholics and a continent that has a huge number of Catholics.
Sarah, tell us, what is security? What is the security contingent looking like right now? Security was always going to be very much of a concern during this trip in light of the terror attacks in Kenya.
Yes, indeed, security has been heightened. Thousands of police officers have been deployed in the country. The Inspector General of Police had said that in the city center, in Nairobi alone, at least 10,000 police officers will be deployed, because this is where he will spend his 3 days. Interestingly, a Vatican reporter saying that they have just spoken to the Pope just before he landed, and he says that security for him is not a major concern. Instead, he's worried about mosquitoes. But of course, a lot of Kenyans are concerned about security, and not just the Pope's security, but their own security, because the spokesperson for the president says the population in the city is likely to swell by at least 1 million, and so they're saying that they're careful to ensure that the country remains secure during those 3 days.
Kenya has seen some of the worst Islamic violence, Sarah. But what are the expectations of ordinary Kenyans, and what is the public sentiment regarding this visit?
For most Kenyans, they're seeing this as an honor. Others call it a blessing. Others actually have said that they will be turning out with their ailing people, those who have relatives who are sick. Some of them will be bringing out their old. Others have said they will just come out to see this man who has been described as a humble person. Others say they will just curious. Some, not even Catholics, say they will just want to come and see him. But a lot of people we've spoken to, and especially this morning, all of them saying that they want him to talk about peace. They want him to address the issues of corruption, and they also want him to address the issues of proper leadership, which they feel is lacking in the country, servant leadership.
Yes, and when it comes to the caliber of leadership in Kenya as well, Sarah, is he most likely to perhaps criticize the inequality and alleged corruption right now?
Well, the thing with the Pope, and this is something we have spoken to a lot of Catholic priests here in the country, they say what he does is that he never points out to a particular person. He speaks in general, but his speech is able to resonate with people, and those who are touched usually will be seen to respond. And so we are not, it is possible that he will have a general message about inequality, about proper leadership, about taking care of the poor, but it is We are not quite sure if he will pinpoint at any person. However, it is interesting to note that just before his arrival, President Uhuru Kenyatta has reshuffled his cabinet, dropped ministers who are facing cases of corruption, and in his own Twitter handle, the Pope talks about corruption being one of the evils of society. So anyway, whatever he says about corruption, I'm sure it is something that will be listened to here in Kenya, and Kenyans will appreciate the message.
Of course, Sarah Kimani, our correspondent, coming to us on the line from Nairobi, where Pope Francis has just touched down. We'll be bringing you regular updates throughout the afternoon on that papal visit. Do stay tuned to SABC News. It's time for Pearl and the